This video covers everything we did in class today on Wednesday, February 23rd. First is the do now, where we practiced writing our expressions in factored form and solving. Here's an example of how you use the distributive property to solve this sort of expression. When I have 3 times parentheses 4 minus 5, I know that I'm distributing the 3 to the 4 and I'm distributing the 3 to the 5. This means that I can rewrite my expression as such. This equals 3 times 4 plus 3 times 5. I know that I can multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 3 times 5, which is 15. My final answer is then 27. Now, you'll follow the same pattern with any expression that you're distributing. You will distribute the factor on the outside of the parentheses to both of the terms that you are adding or subtracting inside the parentheses. Please pause this video and complete the do now. You can use the notes that are posted in today's folder to check your work and see if you have the correct answers. At this point, you should have completed the do now. Let's look at today's learning target. Given an equation, I can create a corresponding tape diagram. We completed 2 main activities in class, which I'll have you focus on. The first is activity 3.2, matching equations to tape diagrams. In this activity, the directions say, match each equation to one of the tape diagrams. Be prepared to explain how the equation matches the diagram. Let's look at a few examples together. If I have the equation 2x plus 5 equals 19, I know that I'm looking for 2 x's plus a 5 for a total of 19. In my choices, I can see 2 options where I have 2 groups of x and a group of 5. In option A, I have 2 groups of x plus a 5, and in option B, I have 2 groups of x plus a 5. That means that either option A or B could represent 2x plus 5. In the second bullet point, I have 2 plus 5 x's equals 19. And so I'll want to look for a diagram where I'm adding 2 and 5 x's. In diagram C, I can see that I'm combining 2 plus 5 x's, which means that my diagram represents the equation, 2 plus 5x. That's diagram C. Your job is to pause this video and match the remaining equations with a diagram. Note that you will use some of the diagrams more than once. In other words, some of the diagrams match with more than one equation. Pause this video and complete slide 3. Finally, we worked on slide 4, activity 3.3. In this activity, you are asked to draw a tape diagram to match each equation. In your tape diagram, you should always start with one long vertical box that will demonstrate your whole. Once you've created your box, and you can see that mine isn't perfect, but I'm using the straight line tools to help me, you'll want to identify the total distance of your box. I know that my equation is equal to 114, and so I can see that my entire box is equal to 114 by labeling it as such. Now, I know that I'm splitting up this total of 114 into 3 groups of x plus 18. I'm going to have you do this on your own, but I want to give you a hint first for both this bullet point and the next one, because you'll draw a tape diagram for both. Back on this slide, we have an example of what it looks like when we are adding a certain number of x's here, plus a whole number. We have 2 groups of x and a 5. That's very similar to what this tape diagram will look like. We have 3 groups of x and an 18. You can use those examples to help you on both of these bullet points. And again, you can always check the notes that are posted in today's folder to verify your work. When you're finished with slide 4, you're all caught up from class today. Make sure that you give tonight's Delta Math a look. It was posted yesterday and is due Friday. If you have any questions about this class you missed, make sure to send me an email.